Good evening, or sorry, good afternoon. Good morning, everyone. It's not evening yet. Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritzma here alongside Drew once again on this Wednesday morning. I'm kind of losing all my days here. They're all going to start meshing together with all the severe we have coming this week. But we are Michigan Storm Chasers live here at 11:04 on June 18th. Currently looking at a severe risk for today across the state, and primarily in southern and central Michigan. Again, for those who are just tuning in, let us know if you can hear us. Tell us where you're watching from. And we'll get right into it here in just a second. First off, let me go to chat here and shout some of you guys out. Welcome to our channel, Carrie, for becoming an EF0 member, and Evan for gifting 5 gifted memberships here on our YouTube channel. And welcome in, everyone. We have Julie in here, Julianne, Kathy, Trisha, Carla, Kyle, Evan, Dalton, Cindy, Amber, just to name a few of you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We're going to dive right into it. I'm going to have to take off the bottom bar because my full screen kind of goes behind it here. So we'll go ahead and do that. So here is your latest day one in-house forecast from us here at MSC. This is our own in-house graphic provided by us, not by the SBC, so it's a little bit different. You'll notice that the orange zone here on your screen has shifted a little bit south, but has expanded to kind of include both sides of southwest and southeast Michigan. Got a little bit closer to Detroit and got closer to the Niles Bend Harbor region. Again, this is going to be a wind-driven risk. You can see there on the top right side of your screen, the max level for winds is level 4. Tornadoes, the secondary threat at level 3, and then hail being the tertiary threat at level 2. Speaking of those hazards, these are your latest hazard maps for each one. This is going to be your tornado outlook for today from us here at MSC. This has shifted a little bit further south and a little bit closer to the east, again, where that warm front is projected to propagate through the state. We could see some isolated, discrete supercells pop up in front of the main line that's supposed to swing through. And we'll go over what the radar's potentially going to look like here in just a second. And it'll make more sense why this zone is kind of shifted a little bit further to the east. That is your zone there. Again, it's a 5 to 14% chance to see a tornado within any storm. It's not just the overall probabilities. You have to have a storm first, and then it's a 5 to 14% chance that that storm will produce a tornado. If you want to be optimistic, of course, you can think of it the other way, as it's an 85 to 95% chance that a tornado will not happen in a storm that hits your location anywhere in that yellow. And those odds obviously go down when you get to a level 2 and a level 1 zone there in green and blue. Moving forward into the damaging wind risk, again, this is your primary risk for today. It's a 25 to 40% chance of 60 plus mile per hour winds. The likely max gusts today are going to be somewhere in that 65 to 75 mile per hour range, kind of that ballpark. And again, timing is from 1 p.m. to midnight tonight. Most at risk is southern Michigan. As you can see there in the level 4 risk in orange, extends from South Haven over to Hastings, over to Lansing, and up towards Flint, in places south down US 23, US 127, and I-69 south of Lansing. So again, that's going to be your greatest chance to see damaging winds today, anywhere in the orange. Obviously, if you're in the yellow and the green, you still have a chance to see damaging winds, even up there into the blue in northern Michigan, Traverse City, Gaylord. However, those odds, as you can see on your screen, are a lot lower: 1 to 4, 5 to 14, and 15 to 24% chance versus a 25 to 40% chance. And lastly, the hail threat here on your screen. This is what has downgraded since the last outlook. Those lapse rates out there today, we mentioned them last night. They're kind of weak in nature. You need a greater temperature difference as you go up in height into the atmosphere, and we're not really seeing that today. So it'll be a lot harder to get super cooled liquid to kind of freeze on itself unless you have a really, really strong updraft that can keep those liquid droplets kind of suspended in the air. So right now, the odds of hail have dropped from a 15 to 24 to a 5 to 14 across southern Michigan, which there's still hail risk, but it is going to be a lot lower chance. The likely max hail size today, if anything, is going to be in that 1 to 1.5 inch range, so not significant by any means. And again, significant hail would be anything over 2 inches. That causes dents to cars and, of course, can break some windshields. So that is our full 4-panel outlook from us here at MSC. If you go look at the SBC outlook, it's kind of the same thing. You can see that big enhanced risk zone in orange there covers pretty much all of southern Michigan. You have the slight risk all the way up to the US 10 corridor, and then marginal risk pretty much all the way up to M72 from Traverse City over towards Alpena there. So it's pretty much the same thing, same thinking there. You have the tornado outlook from from them as well. Also kind of includes the same zones. They do not have a third zone for tornado probabilities because of uncertainty with the overnight model runs. So keep that in mind. Obviously, the hail threat has also shifted out of the state, with the wind threat still being the primary focus. With all these hazards, though, we also have to look at the outlook for rainfall. As you can see on your screen here, there is now a slight risk for excessive rainfall in place. And that is due to training storms. Again, we have a low pressure system that is moving through, kind of stalling, and it's very moist out there today. I'm sure you guys have kind of figured that out. A lot of water to be used. Rainfall rates of over an inch per hour are possible, and as a result, this big yellow zone here on your screen is for flash flooding. It's a 15% chance for flash flood guidance within 25 miles of a point. So you can think of it the other way as an 85% chance of not having flash flooding. So there you go. There's your excessive rainfall outlook for today. Anywhere in green is going to be a marginal risk, which is about a 5% chance. So we also released on our Facebook page a map of our projected rainfall totals for today. Really anywhere in the center of that slight risk is going to be anywhere between 1.5 inches to perhaps 2 inches of rainfall between now and about the midday tomorrow. Again, this low pressure system, it's going to get rid of its severe overnight tonight, but the rain is still going to last through about noon tomorrow. So that is about 24 hours worth, maybe even as if it's rained for you guys so far today, about 30 to 32 hours worth of rain for some of you. And that will cause some of these places to see 1 to 2 inches of rain. And on our rainfall map, we actually included a little red zone where a couple isolated spots could see as high as 3 inches of rain. It's not out of the question if you can have some of those heavier cells kind of train over the area, kind of stay lashed on that warm front, and then just spin around and stall. So keep that in mind. Moving more into the now data. Well, actually, we're going to go ahead and go to the models first and then go into the meso analysis. So again, when we get into the day of, models kind of become a little more worthless. We kind of more turn our attention to what's actually happening out there in terms of satellite and ingredients. But this was the latest 12Z HRRR run this morning, so you can see this is going to be about 2 o'clock this afternoon, projected radar. It clears out very nice across southern Michigan, and that is going to result in potentially more destabilization of the atmosphere. Again, if you have more sunshine, that's going to be more fuel for these storms to fire. So if we see the significant clearing between, probably now and about 2 to 3 p.m., that's going to result in some stronger storm development here across southern Michigan later this evening. So this is going to be your 4 p.m. time frame from the 12Z HRRR run. You can see, as mentioned in our tornado outlook, where that bullseye is. Again, if we have those discrete cells, that's where the tornadoes are most likely to form and be strong. This is going to be 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Sorry, my mouse is in the way. 7 o'clock is pretty much where it's impacting all of southern Michigan minus southeast side. More of those cells still remain over there in the thumb region. Move to 8 o'clock. That's when it's starting to impact Detroit. So if you're going to the Tigers game tonight, it's possible they'll get maybe half the game in before rain and thunderstorms become a concern. And as we get into the 9-10 o'clock time frame, that moves pretty much into the thumb and starts spinning around the back side of that low pressure system. You can kind of see where the center of that low is over West Michigan here around midnight. And as we move into tomorrow, that rain sticks around through about the noon time frame, as in accordance to the HRRR run here. So again, that rainfall you can see stays over pretty much northern and central Michigan a lot tonight up there on the map. So besides the HRRR, we're also going to look at the RRFS, which is another short range model that we use for projected reflectivity. Again, this is the intensity of rain over the incoming hours here. And right now, you can see perhaps some thunderstorm development between now and 4, again, those prefrontal cells, and then we have the main line coming in as soon as 5 to 6 o'clock in southwest Michigan. This has it a little bit further south, as we mentioned in our forecast today, and kind of what we've been talking about behind the scenes between Drew and I and some of the others. We saw a little bit of a southern shift, and that's kind of we've been kind of focusing on our forecast for today, and that's why we saw the orange move a little bit south. However, obviously those threats can still last all the way up there towards Mount Pleasant and the US 10 quarter. But this on the HRRR run, or sorry, the RRFS run, this is going to be 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock. So about the same time frame. Anywhere you see those reds and pinks is going to be the strongest of your precipitation, perhaps. Embedded QLCS tornadoes, strong damaging winds gusting up to maybe 70 miles per hour. And then as that moves into the 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and midnight time frame, that turns into all rain Perhaps some thunder on the backside, and we also have to watch out for strong wind gusts tonight as well. Again, this low pressure is kind of strong in nature, so non-thunderstorm wind gusts could gust to as high as 40, maybe 50 miles per hour on the backside of this low. So secure your trash cans. If you aren't securing your trash cans for just the thunderstorms in general, you'll want to do that for any backside winds on the backside of this low that would occur primarily overnight tonight into tomorrow before the rain starts to fizzle out around noon. In fact, the RFS here has this rain lasting perhaps even longer into the afternoon and perhaps ending by the evening hours tomorrow before we have that secondary severe threat perhaps come in for tomorrow evening across the UP and perhaps into northwest lower Michigan. And again, for those who don't know, we actually do have severe risks in Michigan today, tomorrow, and now on Friday here in the state of Michigan. We'll actually go ahead and pull that up here on your screen. So this is going to be your day 2 outlook. So anywhere you see in this dark green here, that's a marginal risk. Clips portions of northwest lower. It could expand in future updates. We saw this actually overnight to last night. This marginal risk was solely on the other side of the lake, and now it's butting up to our side of the lake in West Michigan, in the UP, Western UP as well. So that is a marginal risk. So it's a very low end risk tomorrow, likely for what I believe is going to be damaging winds, and that is true. So damaging winds and perhaps a little bit of hail tomorrow. And then as we go into Friday as well, there is a slight risk for portions of the UP, Western UP, and then a marginal risk for a lot of the state north of 96, and also to the west of 75 north of north of Flint. So a couple days, we're going to be busy here at MSC over the next couple days in terms of severe weather. The only thing left to cover is what's actually happening out there right now. And we mentioned here just a couple minutes ago that in order for more destabilization of the atmosphere to occur, more stronger storms to occur, you would need significant clearing on the backside of these morning showers. What we see right now is exactly that. We're going to give you that heads up right now. There's significant clearing starting to move in. Drew and I were kind of giving this similar vibes to, I guess, May 7th, where he had that morning rain move through, and then enough clearing happened in the afternoon hours for that second line to become severe, and obviously produced multiple tornadoes, some strong across southwest Michigan. Not saying that's exactly going to be like May 7th today, but it has kind of the same sort of vibe in terms of rain in the morning, clearing, and then the same motion where these storms are moving from southwest to northeast with kind of embedded supercells possible, otherwise more of a linear mode depending on how much of a capping inversion is existing out there. But storms, nonetheless, are going to happen today. It just depends on whether or not the storm mode will be linear or supercellular. On top of that, we also look towards what's called the Meso analyst page. So this is just a kind of live view of the ingredients going on out there right now. So right now I have it set on your bulk shear values. Right now, 35 knots at bulk shear. It's pretty good. We're looking at instability values as well, as we just mentioned. That's going to be that fuel from sunlight beaming down the surface. You can see some values here starting to creep into southern Michigan of over 1,000 to 1,250, perhaps probably at the next update, 1,500 joules of surface-based CAPE. A reminder that surface-based CAPE, anything over 1,000 is sufficient for severe weather. You can even have it in 750, but 1,000 is kind of that golden zone. And you can see just sitting off to our south here is surface-based CAPE of over 3,000 joules. So if any of that can advect up into southwest Michigan as this low-pressure system moves in, that's currently situated in western Illinois, then that could cause some problems here, especially south of 96 today for southwest, southern, and southeast Michigan. Looking at supercell composite, projected supercell composite in the future, definitely increasing as we go into the evening. But again, we'll keep an eye on this throughout the day. These update every hour. And we'll obviously also have a weather balloon launch out there today in the Athens, Michigan region to kind of sample what's actually happening in the atmosphere. This meso analysis does a good job of kind of showing us what's going on out there, but a weather balloon launch is actual data, and it's not kind of area average data. So tune into our page. Obviously, we'll have probably a video of that balloon launch sometime in the future. Again, the balloon launch is tentatively scheduled for around 1 to 2 o'clock, depending on what's happening storm-wise out there. The closer we can get it to 2 o'clock, the better, because obviously our shear values, our damaging winds, ingredients kind of increase the later we go into the afternoon. It's called the low-level jet. So keep that in mind. Other than that, I just rambled for, I don't know, 17 minutes here. Is there anything else, Drew, that comes to your mind currently that I might have missed?
No, not really. will be kind of moving into our area, and MCVs are very difficult to forecast. So this is going to be, once again, a meso-analysis day, just like what Joel was showing just a little bit ago with current data and our weather balloon launch, which will be really helpful for today.
Yeah, sorry, I had you muted on my end for a little bit. I just unmuted you, so
Oh,
they got half of it.
okay.
My bad. I had you
Yeah.
muted on my end during the intro, so I forgot to take it off. But yeah, we are watching meso very closely here across the state. We're also watching ongoing storms, obviously, moving through the state right now. That will hinder instability. So if I switch over my source here real quick to the radar. Here's your ongoing storms. There's a lot of them out there across the state right now. So this complex, this MCV right now in southern Michigan, is going to hinder some of that instability. If this stays clouded over for most of the day, it's going to hinder it obviously completely, but it is moving quickly off to the east, and it's only 11:20 in the morning. Right now, there's a lot of sunlight being filtered in right now across Berrien, Cass, St. Joseph counties, and especially northern Indiana. And that, again, will cause problems for later this afternoon. We're giving you this heads up now just from a meteorological standpoint that it could be an issue. Again, these storms will move from southwest to northeast across the state, so rebound time is going to happen later for Cape, our instability here for southeast Michigan. So again, as a reminder, the storms being severe later today, besides this front line, which could produce marginally severe winds or hail, the main time frame is going to be back here with these storms that are currently developing in Illinois, and that will be for more towards that 7 to 9 o'clock time frame forward to the Detroit region. If you're in southwest Michigan, west Michigan, central Michigan, that's going to be any time between really 1 and I would say probably 5 and 6 o'clock. I know, as we mentioned here on our model runs, that peak timing for West Michigan is going to be right around that 5:30 to 6 o'clock time frame, especially going to be impactful with everyone getting out for work. Again, it is a Wednesday, it's midweek, so take into account it could be stormy if you're getting out of work here across West Michigan and Southwest Michigan as it stands.
Yeah, I would say out of all of today's hazards, the one hazard that's been the most consistent out of everything has been the flash flooding risk. That has been consistently shown on the models throughout this morning and yesterday. So that's something we have pretty high confidence in. Any of these current showers that are happening right now will have very heavy downpours. I believe one of the downpours that was in Edwardsburg, Michigan yesterday received about 3 to 4 inches of rain in that very isolated, localized spot. So we could easily see that today with all these downpours that are moving through the state, and as we have more storms that will be developing as they go into our state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of those storms out there right now, again, a lot of downpours ongoing, as Drew mentioned. A couple of these could be producing small hail right over Peck right now, over towards Leonard, Oxford, Elmont. Again, not severe at the current time. Wind-wise, not a whole lot going on there. Could be some gusty winds up to 30 and 40, which is below severe limits for sure. We are also watching this complex back here in southern Michigan, primarily across Jackson and Lenawee County right now. We actually have a nice surge forward here on this Boeing segment, moving into Clinton and Manchester, Michigan. So that's going to be extreme southwest Washtenaw County here in the minutes to come. You can see some of these higher values here on radar. It's probably about 50 miles per hour at about 4,300 feet off the ground. So that could be special weather statement worthy here in the time to come. You also have a special weather statement down here for this cell moving due north into Perrysburg and Toledo. That could impact portions of southern Monroe County in the minutes to come. But again, this isn't the main stuff. Everything out here today is just bonus. Also can hinder what could come later today. So for whatever reason, if you're looking forward to severe weather, you would want this rain and thunderstorm action to move off out of the state as soon as possible. But again, it's going to take a little bit. That is a good sign, of course. But here in southwest Michigan, the sun is destabilizing the atmosphere quite well right now. Going back to YouTube here real quick, we have Rise Against, one of our moderators in chat, back for month number 11, saying it's almost our 1-year birthday here. Indeed it is. Thank you very much for your support. And Mary for becoming a member here on the YouTube channel. Jay Kund with a $2 super chat saying thank you for the updates. And we have Dee Dee with a $10 super chat asking, do we have a radar with Muskegon? Drew, you are very loud. Joel, your mic is fine. I did adjust it. It should be perfect now. So
yeah, there's been a few comments saying I'm too quiet, and some are saying I'm too loud. So
I'll turn you down a little bit on my end just because
okay.
you are peaking on my end just a little bit, so I'll turn you down. Better balance it. Future radar for Muskegon, though. I will go ahead and get to that real quick. Gotta switch it back to... if it ever lets me. It's not letting me. Oh, that's the live stream. Well, Drew, are you able to pull up anything right now?
Yeah, I can get things ready here. Just need to get a few things pulled up here quick.
But again, that timing I can tell you right now, for timing for Muskegon wise, it's really going to be after 4 o'clock. Oh, there we go. I got it.
Okay, sweet.
It was just being funky. So Muskegon, yeah, about 5 to 6 there. Kind of similar to West Michigan, Grand Rapids, down towards Kalamazoo, Battle Creek. Real quick, while I have a moment, I will say this, since we have a lot of people in here watching right now. If we are live for more than 8 hours today, this is a platform issue. This is not a MSC issue. This is strictly Facebook. Facebook is not very stream friendly. It is one of our top locations to stream to, obviously with 419,000 followers. We appreciate you following us on Facebook. However, today has the potential to be longer than an 8-hour stream if we have those prefrontal cells fire as early as 1 to 2 o'clock, and then obviously severe could last up towards midnight. So that would be over 8 hours in length. That 8-hour time limit, once that gets hit on YouTube, it cuts off our stream right away at the 8-minute or the 8-hour time frame. But we do stay live on YouTube, Twitch, and X as well. So if you haven't subscribed to YouTube before, now is your chance to do that. Again, we can't change that. It's just what Facebook does. Again, it's not very stream friendly for us. We can't even really do anything in terms of like moderation and whatnot on Facebook for fun stuff. That's mainly all going to be on YouTube, Twitch, and X. So if you haven't followed us, or subscribed, I should say, on YouTube, it is free to do. There's a big red button at the bottom of the screen. Feel free to click that. As long as you have like a Google account, it is free to do. So again, follow us there on YouTube, Twitch, or X. Again, if we hit the 8-hour time limit on YouTube later today, the stream does automatically cut off. If that happens, obviously we'll share a link directly to our YouTube page if that happens. Just kind of putting that out there right now for those who will probably be watching the stream later today. If it does go past 8 hours, that will be something that happens. We haven't actually had that in probably a year and a half. All of our streams have been under 8 hours, but this is one of those times where it could be different. So keep that in mind. Going back to our YouTube chat here, for those who do send in super chats on YouTube, we do shout you guys out when we can. We have Hannah back for month number 2 as an EF0 member, and Jay Maniac back for 12 months, saying, "Man, does time fly? Keep up the good work." Thank you both. Ashley asking a question here, back for month number 3. Is it holding together for later? I would say right now, with how much destabilization you can see here with all of this clearing across southwest Michigan, that is going to hold together the stuff that's currently down here in Illinois right now. That is moving up into southwest Michigan and eventually towards probably Charlotte, down towards Ann Arbor, and eventually the Detroit region later tonight. Welcome CW to our team, becoming an EF1 member here. Donkey Kong with a $4.99 super chat. What risk do you see for portage? Right now, I would say For Portage, it's going to be a damaging wind risk with embedded QLCS spin-ups possible, kind of similar to what we saw on March 30th this year. And that's kind of what this event is starting to look like as we move forward, minus the prefrontals. If you guys remember throughout this year, pretty much all of the events have forecasted prefrontals, and those never usually come to fruition. Again, today is one of those days where we could see these prefrontals and QLCS spin-ups in a main line. So bimodal is what we call it. We have two modes of severe weather ongoing. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think most likely for Portage right now, it's going to be just a line of damaging winds with a couple embedded mesovortices within the line. Drew, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say so. We have kind of two zones that we'll be watching. Is that line that's coming from the southwest, and if we get any storms that can develop along that warm front by 96 or a little bit maybe further north, we could have a slightly increased tornado threat, but that's a little bit more uncertain, as well as the final positioning with that line. So those are the two things we're going to be looking at. And once again, we're going to be doing our weather balloon launch in a few hours here, actually. And that will really give us a clear picture on what all could happen here. So we're kind of at the time frame now where model runs are basically becoming useless, and we're just going to start looking more at current data, satellite, and meso analysis. So for those that are wondering too, states like Indiana today have a much higher risk because just there's a higher confidence that they'll have that better access to instability and basically all those ingredients. So for Michigan, it's a little bit more uncertain in terms of how far north that warm front could go, how much instability can build, and that's why there's a lot of uncertainty, is that we're kind of barely at that threshold, whereas states like Illinois and Indiana are already in a very, very unstable atmosphere, which Joel was showing earlier on with the Cape values.
Yeah. Again, sunlight, it's a very deceiving atmosphere for those who aren't weather aware per se. Don't be fooled by the copious amounts of sunlight. That is only just going to cook the atmosphere like an oven. It's going to add more storm fuel to it. It's kind of like refilling your car at the gas station. You're refilling the atmosphere with fuel for severe weather. So keep that in mind. Again, we have plenty of sunlight out there today, starting to filter into southwest Michigan, and we'll see how storms kind of interact with that as we go into the evening time frame, or the afternoon into the evening, I should say. I see a question here about that 8-hour time limit. Is it in a row or total throughout the day? So it's in a row. So if we are 8 hours straight, then it automatically cuts off. So if we got a nice break somewhere in the middle of the day, we'll try and take it. So that way we could potentially split it up into two parts. But right now, it looks to be where once we start and stay live, it's going to stay live wall to wall for the rest of the day until those storms completely move out of the state.
For those that are wondering, we have a page called Indiana Weather Network that will be covering the Indiana live stream when these storms are first initiating. So if you guys want to see any storms as these storms come into Michigan, feel free to follow them on Facebook and YouTube. They'll be live covering those storms as they come towards Michigan, and then obviously we'll take over once these storms are in Michigan.
Yep. Indiana Weather Network, Indiana Weather Online, those are our two accounts we own. We also own Indiana Storm Chasing Network. So all three of those, can't go wrong with them for all of our Indiana friends down there. We got Pikachu back for month number 12, saying, are you going to do a data update watch party stream? So this is pretty much going to be our last live stream for the day in terms of giving you guys an update. Anything further on is just going to be posts on Facebook and X and Threads as well to an extent. So keep that in mind. Next time you see us go live will likely be for probably maybe the balloon launch if we do live stream that. Otherwise, it will be for severe weather coverage later this afternoon, unless one of these storms right now in the state goes live or goes warned and we have to stay live here. But we're not expecting that at the current time. But still, we're keeping an eye on it. There is still a nice wind gust moving up US 12 right now towards Clinton, Manchester, and Bridgewater in southwest Washtenaw County. But other than that, it looks pretty sub-severe right now. Thank you, Palm Trees, Thank you, Palm Trees, for becoming for the $10 super chat as well. Appreciate you very much. Go ahead, Drew.
seeing a lot of questions about, are we going to get severe weather in Michigan? Are we going to get tornadoes? Like I said, like we were mentioning before, there's a lot of uncertainty with how today could play out. Well, it doesn't really matter. You should have multiple ways to receive warnings, whether or not there's lesser confidence or higher confidence. We have a severe weather chance today, regardless. So just make sure you're weather aware and have multiple ways to receive warnings just in case it would uptrend, or if we would have a tornado that would happen in Michigan today. So you always want to be weather prepared and never be caught off guard.
The best ways to receive warning are going to be that Midland Weather Radio. I will show it to you guys right now. Now that we do have some time before the severe weather really starts, but this is what it looks like. That's WR120 from Midland is the name of the company that provides them. You can pick them up in person at some of your local hardware stores. You'll just have to check online to see where they're available. I know Ace is one of the places, maybe Walmart, some places like that. Otherwise, you can order them online for the next severe weather event that does occur. So something to take into consideration. Weather radio is the best way to receive warning. You obviously can download weather apps on your phone, such as Emergency by the Red Cross, and there's also the FEMA app. Both of those apps do alert you for all severe weather alerts, and you can customize them as well if you don't want certain alerts sounding on your phone. I know there has been a couple issues with what alerts have been sounding for certain locations. I can tell you from the last severe weather event that Emergency was working for me. So try out Emergency. It doesn't hurt to download it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But just know that it is an option. Obviously, we'll be live today as well if severe weather does occur across the state from beginning to end, as mentioned.
For those that are wondering, SBC will have an updated day one forecast at 12:30 today. So they'll have their forecast updated in terms of positioning of the slight risk or enhanced risk or marginal risk here in Michigan if one needs to be changed at all.
Yeah, and as it stands right now, I believe this is a good risk. I don't see any need to move it around unless within the next hour something changes in terms of more northward advection. But I would imagine that this right now is good as it stands. It probably won't change anything. They have been, in the latest outlooks, monitoring for an upgrade to the tornado risk on their end to a 10% chance. But again, with this morning's storms, it makes it hard to actually grasp at how the afternoon will redevelop until really the afternoon comes along. So you could see a very close to the event type of update where at the last second they add like a 10% tornado risk for portions of Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio. We'll see. Tornado-wise, EF0, EF1, perhaps EF2s are possible today. It all depends on what it hits. Again, that's how tornadoes are rated. It's not based on wind speed. It's based on the wind damage it produces. Yes, severe watches are possible today.
Yeah, watches are definitely possible today just because of how widespread these storms could be, especially in southern Michigan. So yeah, we'll also have chasers out and about today as well, storm chasing. So we'll have live feed cameras from our chasers as well as our stationary cams as well. And I believe, Joel, Ryan has his stationary cam on right now if you want to take it in southeast Michigan. He said he was in the background. I don't know if you want to show that at all.
Yep, there he is.
There it is.
Perfect. So here is your radar throughout today. Again, you can see as it goes through there, it just kind of, you can see where the low is spinning around there on your screen. It kind of pushes those storms out and away from the center of the low. Really, again, that's going to be after that 4 o'clock time frame for the main line back off to the left or back off to the west. Prefrontals as early as it looks like 1 to 3 o'clock, primarily across portions of the Tri-Cities region. and points kind of near the I-69 region as well. So Flint over towards Lapeer, perhaps down towards Lansing as well. Gonna watch means conditions are favorable in the next couple hours for severe weather to develop. A warning is storms are happening right now, and you should be taking shelter in case you do see that later today. Do not be confused. Watches and warnings are completely different things. You don't need to take shelter in a watch, but you do need to be taking shelter in a warning. A watch is kind of just like a bulletin saying, hey, heads up, ingredients are there today. Make sure your plans are adjusted accordingly, and you're always tuning in to your multiple sources to receive severe weather bulletins as they come across. Again, we are here for you guys from beginning to end for all severe weather coverage in the state of Michigan. We are the only page to cover the entire state of Michigan from beginning to end for all 83 counties. You won't find a better weather source than us, so keep that in mind. Feel free to follow us. Or, of course, you can tune in to your local news stations as well, as they also do a great job in covering more of a localized area in the state. So we love our meteorology friends. We have a lot of them that we talk to for sure around the state from local news channels. So shout out to all those guys as well for keeping everyone safe, same way we do here at MSC. Yeah, I just took it, Ryan. I just had your cam up for a brief moment. There you go. See some of the cumulus clouds from nearby storms moving through.
Yeah, a lot of these storms that are kind of forming right now there's a decent amount of instability kind of in place, but we're still kind of lacking that shear for severe storms. So that will change later on during the afternoon as we have that low pressure system approaching from the southwest.
Yeah, the general consensus right now is anywhere along 96 and 90, or along 96 from Muskegon to Lansing, and along 69 from Lansing over to Port Huron and points south, along and south, are best at risk for damaging winds and tornadoes today. If you're north, the risk is still there, but it's a lot lower. We have Brett in chat here with a $4.99 super chat saying, just curious, I see the CSU learning model calls for severe weather this weekend. Any thoughts on that? Yeah, so for this weekend, again, the heat is going to be a problem. And again, when we have so much heat, excuse me, that increases our instability like tenfold. You get CAPE values of upwards of 5,000 joules of CAPE. Again, that's 4 or 5 times the amount needed for severe weather. But again, it only depends on if you can have a source of lift, source of moisture, and source of shear as well if you want rotating storms, damaging wind gusts. So you can get pulse thunderstorms with that amount of CAPE that would produce perhaps microbursts, which is again wind blowing out from all directions from a storm as the updraft collapses. But again, this weekend is looking very, very hot and a lot of instability out there, so we could see some pulse thunderstorms move through the state. However, it does not look like a widespread severe weather event at this current time. Again, a lot kind of hinges on back-to-back-to-back days here of severe weather, so each day kind of puts down its own boundary and affects the atmosphere in different ways. And so we're seeing kind of that interaction today with the morning storms from last night. And yeah, we have, again, severe weather is possible over the next 3 days, and then we'll keep an eye on Saturday as well as our heat starts to build in with heat index values over 100 to 105 degrees for portions of southern Michigan and central Michigan. And I feel like in the latest model runs I've been looking at, they keep bumping up those numbers. So it could be upwards of 110 in spots, which is not going to feel good on your skin. Again, we are more acclimated to the feels like temperatures as humans because we are made up of water. And so that feels like temperature does take into account that dew point out there. So this weekend, if you have plans to be outdoors, make sure you're drinking at least 3 liters of water per day. That is going to be the best way to stay hydrated. Maybe upwards of 4, especially if you're doing any strenuous outdoor activities there, especially on Saturday into Sunday, and then obviously starting next week as well. Thank you, Cindy, for becoming an EF3 member for month number 12 here at MSC YouTube, saying thank you for the updates and congratulations on being here for a month or 12 months. Appreciate you, and we always see you around here, so thank you for becoming one of our, continuing to be one of our longtime supporters. Appreciate you very much. We also have Cindy with a $20 super chat as well, saying thank you guys, appreciate you guys, thank you. No problem. Stay safe out there today as well, Cindy. You are appreciated.
Another thing I'll mention too is with these storms that will be traversing across the state, whether they are severe or not, a lot of these storms will have heavy downpours. So for anyone that's traveling, I kind of mentioned it yesterday about that severe threat, but another thing to be mindful about too is that hydroplaning concern too. If you're going really fast on the highway with a really heavy downpour, you could easily lose control of your vehicle. So when these downpours are happening, just take the appropriate speed that you need to take and just be mindful of that. And preferably, you don't want to be traveling when these storms are going on. But if you are, just slow down, don't go too fast, because a lot of these storms will have very heavy downpours at times.
And for those who missed at the beginning of the stream, there's another threat today of flash flooding possible across the state where 1 to 2 inches of rain is possible. I see a special weather statement just popped up on the bottom of our screen here, Drew. That looks like it's going to be for Jackson. Why does it say Jackson and Keweenaw? So 2 separate counties that are completely far apart. That's funny. We'll have to see what's going on with the code there. I would imagine it's probably for Jackson County only.
Yeah, it's nearby Ryan's Cam actually.
Jackson and Keweenaw. Keweenaw's all the way up there in the UP. So here's your timing map once more here. This is projected from the HRRR. This might not be exactly how things play out. You can see that complex over by Detroit. That is going to be around 1 o'clock. It's moving through Detroit. 2 o'clock into the thumb, moving out of there by 3. And then you start to have these prefrontal cells pop around 3 as well, as late as 4 or 5 o'clock. And then we have our line moving in 5 to 6 from southwest Michigan up towards Grand Rapids, and kind of congeals with that warm front as it moves towards the southeast side of the state. And this is going to be around that 8 to 9 and even 10 o'clock time frame before moving out of the state by around midnight. And we have leftover residual showers overnight that aren't expected to be severe. Nothing severe-wise, but again, it's going to result in some flooding risk out there, as these will be some very heavy showers. Perhaps, again, some flash flooding ongoing. So turn around, don't drown. If you come across a flooded roadway, you do not know what's actually under there. It could be a complete washout, so do not take the chance. A 5-minute detour may save your life, is something that we like to say as well. Again, it's not worth it to drive through water, especially if you can't see the bottom of the road. So please don't do that.
At current dew points right now, it's definitely really humid out there. We have dew points in the low 70s in parts of southern Michigan and mid to high 60s for central Michigan. So in the central and southern part of our state, it's very muggy out right now. So summer like air is back.
Absolutely. And this muggy air is going to be around for probably at the end of the month, the next 2 weeks here. Consistently high 60s to low 70 dew points across much of the lower peninsula. The only relief is going to be up there where it's a little bit drier in the UP. But again, you also have a lot of bugs up there right now as well. It is 'tis the season for bugs. And that's going to be, it's obviously our theme during the summer. We have so many around here, but especially when they're in peak hatching right now, it is a little annoying. Speaking from experience, traveling up there in early June is a little bit of a hassle, but again, the UP is very beautiful. So if you have plans in the next 2 weeks to go up to the UP, enjoy them while you can. You absolutely should go visit the UP if you haven't been there before. It's amazing up there. Yes, we are live on YouTube right now. Yep. Suzanne, thank you for the 199 super chats. What do you guys expect for Brighton? So Brighton is going to be kind of in that bullseye for damaging winds. Perhaps a sneaky isolated cell that could produce a tornado, but however, we can't guarantee you're going to get a tornado, so the main hazard is going to be damaging winds. That's more of a widespread threat. If we had a crystal ball, I could tell you exactly where tornadoes were going to occur during the day. We'd let you know, but that is not likely. We can't predict, we can't see into the future, I should say. We can predict the future to an extent, but we can't see the future. We're hoping our balloon launch today also kind of gives us a nice snapshot of what the atmosphere is doing out there. The storm in Jackson right now is producing some gusty winds. Not severe, but upwards of 40 miles per hour, so that can knock over trash cans, blow them down a little bit. Knock down some loose tree branches as well, so keep that in mind. This is also heading through Washtenaw County towards downtown Ann Arbor as we speak. So a little bit of a gusty wind threat there, but right now not severe. Again, we are watching it just in case we do have to stay live or go live again for severe weather. In this first line here, which again we aren't expecting, but it is possible. Go ahead and flip back to the radar there, so you guys can see exactly what we're talking about. So you have one big strong storm right now, Burrville, Memphis, Armada, Romeo. This is just perhaps a microburst ongoing right now, so it's going to be outflow winds on each side of the storm, about 40 miles per hour. Perhaps some small hail mixing in, but again, with the lapse rates the way they are today, it's not likely that you'll see anything over an inch. Then down here you can see the brighter greens on radar for your special weather statement. That is for those gusty winds, 40 miles per hour. Perhaps some small hail as well, but right now, again, that's kind of bowing out, so that's more indicative of gusty winds.
As you guys could kind of see when Joel was going through radar, look at all that red that's present with some of those cells. Very heavy rain that's going on too. So that just kind of emphasizes about the flooding risk today. We are in a slight risk for excessive rainfall from the National Weather Service. So just be mindful about that. That's like I was saying earlier on, the one threat that's kind of been the most consistent and in a way the most concerning, especially for low-lying areas that are prone to flooding.
We do have a special weather statement as well here coming in for this new cell, Drew. That is out ahead of this line in Barton Hills, heading up towards Southline and Brighton right now. This is in effect for 40 mile per hour winds and pea-sized hail, kind of similar to what this line back here is as well. So 40 mile per hour wind, kind of the theme right now across portions of southeast Michigan. Again, heading northeast at about 25 miles per hour, so relatively slowly as it heads into more of the Metro Detroit region, Oakland County, Wayne County in the hour to two to come. I see Rebecca, thank you for the super chat, $2 super chat, saying Oakland County under special weather statement now. Thank you very much. Rachel becoming a part of the team here as an EF0 member. Thank you, Rachel. Appreciate you very much. Mary Stone, $2 super chat, saying, how about where I live, JK, cheers. Thank you very much for your super chat there. And Megan with a $2 super chat, lightning, thunder, and heavy rain, Whitmore Lake. Thank you very much for that report. See that here on screen. This briefing has kind of turned into a live storm tracking across the state. I almost don't want to leave it because I feel like as soon as we leave it, Drew, it's going to go severe warned.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Ryan is also getting food right now The inside joke being, if you get food here at MSC, 75% of the time, there's a severe warning within like the next 30 minutes, maybe even sooner. So it just happens to be that way for whatever reason. So Ryan's our president, and he's getting food right now. Just letting you guys know that. So if you want to blame anyone, it'd be Ryan. Yes, food is bad luck.
I know there were a few people wondering about where chasers will be today. I believe we're going to have a few chasers just kind of scattered around about, well, a few in southern Michigan, I think a few in the Thumb as well. So kind of scattered around across the state, right where that risk is kind of centralized at in central and southern Michigan. So we'll have eyes today. And as always, we also have our cams, thanks to our sponsor.
And our sponsor for our cams is Guardian Technologies. Feel free to give them a shout. Check them out if you need some security cameras. See, there's a tornado warning now in Illinois. It's still way back off there. Kind of on the very west side. It's actually just north of St. Louis right now. So that is what's coming our way later today. Jackson. Oh, where'd our velocity go?
For those that are wondering, with these showers and storms that we're watching in the east side of the state, we're mainly just seeing with velocity, just kind of gusty winds, microbursts. That's really the main thing that we're seeing. Heavy downpours and gusty winds right now with these cells. And if there is any hail, it'd be probably pea-sized at best, I believe, if that's what you're thinking too, Joel.
Yeah. I'm noticing right now we have storms that are colliding here in extreme northern Macomb County with this cell right here. Usually when we have interaction like that, that can either help or hurt the storm in terms of rotation. Right now, not seeing any rotation on there, but it does bear worth monitoring with an atmosphere we have out there today, juiced for shear. Could do some funky things. Again, this morning is not expected to be, or I should say the next hour, it's not expected to be peak severe, but once we get past that 1 o'clock time frame, as mentioned, that's when we have to start looking for the chances to see start to see some severe warnings start to pop up.
For those that are wondering, if you guys want to send in damage reports or flood reports, feel free to send that to our Michigan Weather Report page on Facebook. We encourage to send reports as long as you're being safe while you're doing that. We don't want you to head out there when there's ongoing bad weather or severe weather, or we don't want you to put yourself in harm's way. But if you want to take a picture inside your home of anything that's going on, whether it's flooded roads or hail or anything like that, feel free to send that over. And then, Joel, I believe there's also a Discord chat too. You could do that in as well
For what?
for sending in weather reports.
Yes. It's going to be damage and survey is the channel inside of the Discord. So a link to our Discord is discord.gg/Michigan Storm Chasers. The link will probably be in the chat here from one of our moderators. Make sure when you do join the Discord to set your username, or sorry, your server nickname as a valid first name or a nickname you go by, and then the county you reside in, so we know where your weather reports are coming from, obviously, so we don't have to ask.
Doesn't just help us, it also helps the local National Weather Service as well when it comes to surveying damage, whether it's, especially that's the case if it's tornadic damage or straight line wind damage. It really helps them out too as well.
We got Red Dozier in our YouTube chat with a $50 super chat. Thank you, Red, very much. Saying, hi, everyone. Sun keeps trying to peek out here, and I hope it doesn't. It's something that we do not want to see today is the sun. Again, for those who don't know, sunshine is equal to destabilization of the atmosphere, which means more severe weather. So thank you, Red, as one of our longtime donors here at MSC. I think one of our first donors. I appreciate you very much, as always, for your support. And welcome, Bruce, I believe is what it says. Bruce here, becoming an EF2 member on our YouTube channel.
Joel, I believe we have a new Meso discussion being posted here in the National Weather Service that does include extreme southwest Michigan.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it includes Berry County and Van Buren and Cass County, I believe. I don't know if you want to pull that up or if you want me to.
If you want to read it off, go for it.
Sweet. I'll pull it up here. So for those that are wondering, a Mesoscale discussion is issued by the National Weather Service. It's just a discussion of what they think the upcoming environment could be upscale. It's mainly for Illinois and Indiana, but it does include extreme southwest Michigan. And basically they are discussing about how the severe threat will increase during the afternoon. It says severe threat should increase substantially through mid-afternoon as an arc of storms intensifies to the east-northeast from central Illinois. A few tornadoes, scattered damaging winds, and isolated severe hail will remain possible. Downstream tornado watch issuance is anticipated northeast. So there could be a potential tornado watch that could be issued later on. But once again, that's for Michigan speaking, that's only for extreme southwest Michigan.
And for those who do want to go see the map, it is on at NWSSPC on X. You can also look up their Facebook account as well. It's probably there. Let me go ahead and change my stream here real quick over back from radar to pivotal. There we go. And go back into Storm Prediction Center. There we go. Get you guys the map of what Drew just read off here, so you can see that includes portions of southwest Michigan as the Mesoscale discussion ongoing. Severe tornado threat increasing with a downstream tornado watch expected. Oh, something to keep in mind here, Drew, is in the chat. I think you probably read this off, right? The D1, next D1 update is going to have the 10% tornado threat.
Oh.
Yeah. So they are planning to upgrade at 1630Z. So 10% chance. So the SBC is planning to upgrade their tornado threat for today. We'll have to see where. I'm imagining it's going to be portions of southwest Michigan as well here as we move.
Yeah, I'd imagine the majority of it would be in Illinois and Indiana, and then maybe it'll clip Michigan. But I think the main states will be Illinois and Indiana. I know we mentioned earlier on during the live stream about our other platforms in Indiana called Indiana Weather Network, Indiana Weather Online, and Indiana Storm Chasing Network. Those pages will be live if there's any severe weather going on in Indiana. I believe Caleb and Ryan will be monitoring, will be on that live stream covering any severe weather. So for anyone that's in Michigan that just is curious about the severe weather that's going on, feel free to watch those streams and give those guys a follow. Because those storms that are happening in Illinois and Indiana will be the ones that we'll have to be on a lookout for in Michigan.
Yeah, thanks to that destabilization across southwest Michigan ongoing right now. You can see on your current satellite all of that sunshine peeking out. That is all going to destabilize this atmosphere for this afternoon. So if you are in southwest Michigan, this is your heads up now. Later this afternoon, probably around that 2 and beyond time frame. Again, we said as early as 1, but these storms are still way off in Illinois right now. So I would imagine anytime really probably after 3 at this point for southwest Michigan, allow that fuel to kind of gather itself. So keep that in mind. Again, tornado watch likely on the way. 10% chance of tornado upgrade here as well for probably portions of Illinois and Indiana, as well as perhaps southwest lower Michigan. I'm going to go ahead and look at upper air, see where our frontogenesis band is setting up right now, just to see where that warm front could be. I would say this is still pretty far north, Drew. That warm front is right along 96.69 right now. Yep. So anywhere along and south of I-96 from Muskegon to Lansing and 69 from Lansing over to Port Huron, that is going to be your warm front for today, it looks like.
As a reminder, warp fronts can be a little sneaky sometimes. That could increase that tornado threat if we have any cells that would ride along there. So that's also just something to be mindful about, and that's what Joel's kind of mentioning about where that warm front currently is at right now. So yeah, that's nearby your apartment, right, Joel? Not too far away.
Yeah, just south of me. Alicia with a $2 super chat. I can see that clearing getting bigger. Yeah, absolutely. Again, we don't want to see what we're seeing out there right now, but we are. That is a lot of sunshine across southwest Michigan. And we'll have you guys covered. No worries there. But I believe, all that being said, again, peak timing really after 1 o'clock here. We are watching closely for storms in southeast Michigan right now that could do a little bit of a sneaky severe threat. We'll be live covering that as well as needed if there are any warnings that go into effect here, as well as up towards the thumb. Again, we expect the main batch to be really after that 2 to 3, maybe later into the 4 and 5 o'clock time frame, kind of when everyone's getting out of work this evening. So, yeah, it's just something we'll have to be watching throughout the day. There's a lot of nowcasting going on behind the scenes. We'll have a better update within probably the next hour or two. We'll also have more posts out on Facebook as well as the evening or the afternoon rolls on. So all in all, again, severe weather day, all hazards possible. Southern Michigan, if you are from Grand Rapids over to Flint and points south, that is going to be the main zone for the strongest of severe weather day, all hazards possible. Main hazards are going to be damaging wind, secondary risks, tornadoes. tertiary risk being some larger hail. And obviously we also are watching for a lot of rain out there today as well, mainly into tomorrow, overnight tonight into tomorrow. And again, that will provide perhaps upwards of 3 inches of rain for some people across much of the lower peninsula. So a couple spots there could see 3 inches, and otherwise 1 to 2 is kind of going to be the average going rate out there. So much needed rain, especially for southern and central Michigan tonight, where the drought is currently in effect. So we'll be happy to see that. But before we go, we'll go ahead and read through our sponsors for today. We are going to go ahead and do that right now. We have Stormguard Roofing and Construction, based out of Washtenaw County, so Oakland, Macomb, Washtenaw County there. You have Lifestyle, based out of Central Michigan, Lansing to Traverse City. Katz Roofing and Siding, based out of Lansing and Potterville. Pro Powder, out of South Haven. Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding, based out of Sanilac and St. Clair. McKay Tree Specialists, is based out of Southeast Michigan. And Kuiper Tree Care, based out of West Michigan. Again, all these numbers are on the screen there. If you guys want to write them down, pause the stream, rewind it to a number that you see. Gold Lake Tree Pro, based out of Kalamazoo County. FBI Buildings, your Lower Peninsula sponsor for all things barn dominiums and outdoor building needs. On Top Roofing, based out of Livingston County. Schneider Commercial Building Solutions, based out of Lansing, as well as Shield Public Adjusters, based out of Lansing. Floor Coverings International, based out of the Michiana region for all of your flooring needs. Top Gun Roofing and Exteriors, also based out of West Michigan for roofing and exterior work. We also have A-Class Construction and Restoration, which is our newest sponsor here at MSC, based out of Mason County. And, of course, as always, our sponsor for all of our Skynet cams across the state for live cams for when severe weather is rolling in. That is going to be Guardian Technologies. You can contact them today for security cameras, audio, video, access controls, and data and voice. So two-way communications through security cams there. Check them out, based out of Burton, Michigan. Those are all the sponsors. Again, we thank you to all of our sponsors who keep operations going here at Michigan Storm Chasers. We can't do what we do without you guys, so thank you very much. As well as to all of you guys who have donated today via Super Chats or stars on Facebook. Again, we can't really see the stars on Facebook. Another reason why it's best to watch on YouTube and support monetarily on YouTube is because we can see all of it. But if you did donate on YouTube today, we also thank you guys as well. And it all goes right back into keeping these streams running for y'all. So with all of that said, Drew, is there anything you want to sign off with? Any critical information that needs to be said about today?
No, not really. Like I mentioned before, we'll be watching Mesoanalysis here and social media for any new updates. We'll have you guys posted. We'll also have our chasers out and about reporting on the field if anything else is going on. And yeah, well, huge shout out to our mod team for moderating chats. Really appreciate their help as well. So yeah.
Yeah, especially thank you for the mods again. The mods have a somewhat strenuous job for sure, keeping you guys all in check and chat, so don't piss them off. Appreciate all of our mods as always, being long-time supporters. And again, make sure you're following their every rule, especially since we're tracking storms all the time here and not really focusing on chat. So, Tigers game today, yeah, that's going to be a big question mark. They might start it, but they probably won't finish it. So something to take into mind if you are going there tonight. Same with any baseball games or events going on across the state. Really, after that 5 o'clock time frame, that's when rain and storms really start to fill in statewide across the lower peninsula. Other than that, we're going to hop off here. We'll be back live for any severe warnings. Hopefully that doesn't happen for a while. Obviously, we don't want to see any severe warnings out there, but if they happen, they will happen. We'll be here covering them from beginning to end, as always, here at Michigan Storm Chasers. And thank you, OBS Plays, for becoming an EF0 member here on YouTube. Again, as always, our live streams can be found on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch, those 4 platforms simultaneously. A reminder, if we do go past 8 hours consecutive of streaming on Facebook today, it will cut off automatically, so make sure if the stream does go for that long that you tune in on YouTube or Twitch or X, one of those other options. Again, it's not it's not on our end, it's on Facebook's end. Again, streaming capabilities on Facebook are very, very limited to what we do, but again, because it is our most followed platform, we still are going to stream to there as long as we possibly can. So keep that in mind. Again, we also have Discord channel for those with weather anxiety, discord.gg/Michigan Storm Chasers. If you want to come chat with us today, we'll be there for all of your weather anxiety concerns. So we're going to hop off. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Stay safe out there, everyone. And again, there is, as a reminder, a 10% chance upgrade coming here from the SBC in the next update for likely southwest Michigan as the atmosphere continues to destabilize across the state. A lot of clearing going on. So we'll have updates coming to you live on Facebook in terms of posts and X as well in the hours to come. So have a great afternoon, everyone, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
See ya.